Jamaica recorded 66 new cases of COVID-19 yesterday, November 10, taking the total of cases to 11,509. The death toll remains at 270. Now, according to the Ministry of Health and Wellness, of the 66 new cases, there were 24 males and 41 females ranging in age from 4 to 82 years. The gender of one case is still under investigation. The cases were recorded in Kingston and St. Andrew with 17, St. Catherine 11, St. James 10 cases, St. Anne 7 cases, Trelawney 6, Hanover, Westmoreland and St. Elizabeth 4, Clarendon 2 cases and Manchester recorded 1 case. The country also recorded 145 new recoveries, taking the total of recovered persons to 7,667. Still making news tonight, in a continued effort to stop the spread of COVID-19 in Jamaica, the Ministry of Health and Wellness is continuing its Mask Up Before You Talk Up campaign island-wide with activities in downtown Kingston yesterday. Now, in his remarks to residents, the Minister of Health and Wellness, Dr. Christopher Tufton, urged that as we get ready to celebrate the Christmas season, it is important to protect each other and our loved ones by wearing a mask and following the protocols.
So all of you who are looking on, across the road, down the road, around the road, behind me, in front of me, we are here in downtown square to say to all of you, we are in Christmas, and we know the feeling that Christmas brings. We know the merriment and the enjoyment. We know the trade and the commerce, the selling and the buying. We know the giving of thanks because it is a Christian tradition and a Christian holiday. But guess what? COVID is here, COVID is alive, and COVID represents a threat to all of us. And so we really need to work with all of you to highlight the message of COVID and for everybody to take the appropriate steps to avoid getting COVID. What does that mean? It means that as you do what you do during this time of holiday, of Christmas, please wear your mask. You see what the sign says? Mask up before you talk up. Let me hear everybody repeat it loud for me. Mask up before you talk up. And by the way, this is a legal demonstration, okay? So we don't need no police in this demonstration. What we're basically doing is reminding all of Jamaica to remember it is so important to carry a mask when you go out, put it on, and don't allow anybody to say anything to you unless you tell them to put on the mask, and make sure you have on yours.
The minister further pointed out that even as we at times find it difficult to follow all the protocols, not following them puts us and others at risk. He also thanked the health workers for their hard work.
We know that the social distancing is difficult, especially in these settings, because people walk in close to each other. Try to do it as much as you can. But walk with your sanitizer, and make sure that your mask becomes as important as your pants and your shirt or your dress or your blouse or your skirt. It is a part of your uniform. It's a part of your essential. Because what we don't want is that come January, we have a lot of hospitalization because COVID has broken out because of what happened downtown. So, Your Worship, I want to thank the council, the councillors, your administrators for working with the Ministry of Health. I want to thank the community health aides who are all here. You're all looking very good. And I know you're on the front line every day in the hot sun spreading the message. I want to thank the leadership, Mr. Baker, Nurse Sheckwood, and I want to thank the media for giving exposure. Let this holiday be a holiday where we look out for each other, we care for each other, and let the COVID message continue to be spread.
Mayor of Kingston, Councillor Delroy Williams, who joined the minister and his team on the campaign in the downtown business district, thanked the minister for the work he and his team have been doing to rid the country of the virus.
We want to say thank you to the Ministry of Health and Wellness for having been very active and very targeted, strategic since the COVID pandemic came to our shores. We just want to express from the municipality our appreciation to the minister and to the staff of his ministry, because we have had a very wonderful working relationship between the municipality and the ministry. And Minister, I would say that we have had cases here, we have had some deaths, and we do sympathize for that. But all in all, I believe that you have done, and your staff have done a wonderful job in ensuring that, in protecting the municipality, Kingston and St. Andrew, but protecting the country. And we just want to say thank you. We know it's a hard job. We know that you're ever, and your ministry ever looking for new ways to do better. And that is also very good of you and the ministry. But you continue to do a very good job.
Now, Minister Tufton, joined by the team of public health nurses and community health aides, also walked throughout downtown Kingston, handing out educational flyers, hand sanitizers, and masks. Still making news tonight, there is some good news for Jamaicans who qualify for grants under the government's Business Employee Support and Transfer of Cash Best Cash and supporting employees with Transfer of Cash Set Cash programs. Minister of Finance Dr. Nigel Clark yesterday announced that many of the people who qualify for Best and Set Cash grants over the period September to November and have not yet been paid will get their money during this month.
In Jamaica, we were able to respond quickly with social and economic support that 435,000 people have benefited from, and a significant percentage of those who lost their jobs in COVID, not everybody by any stretch, but a significant number, about 50,000 people, have been in receipt of set and best cash grants for the period April to December. The payments for September, October, and November will be made in the month of December. But when you, so I'm not saying on a month because the payments weren't timed every single month, but for the period April to December, approximately 50,000 Jamaicans will have been in receipt of a stipend from the government of Jamaica. Never before has the government of Jamaica been able to respond to a crisis in this way with such a large-scale social intervention.
The minister also discussed matters of importance regarding the state of Jamaica's economic status and the future projections.
While we expect, economic contraction to continue for the full fiscal year, the third and the fourth quarters of this fiscal year, albeit at a slower or more moderate pace, the prospects for a return to economic growth in the next financial year, 2021-22, are strong. Indeed, all of the agencies who specialize in forecasting, whether the Planning Institute of Jamaica or the Bank of Jamaica or the rating agencies or the IMF, all expect Jamaica to return to growth in the next fiscal year, and this is good. The economic contraction that we're experiencing is a contraction that doesn't have anything to do with any structural issues or any structural factors. It's a contraction that is solely based on the inability of economic agents, of individuals, locally and overseas, to move about freely and to transact as they normally would.
Dr. Clark pointed out also that in the midst of the worst global pandemic in 90 years, Jamaica is able to still make economic plans for the future.
So I was making the point that other countries at this point are still focused on making ends meet for this year. Jamaica so far Our budget is on track so far. It's too early by any means, to celebrate because we still have 4 months left in the year and 4 very important months. So I'm only reporting on what has happened already. So Jamaica, because of the performance that we're experiencing, has had the flexibility to look across the medium term and to plan for the future. So in the middle of the worst pandemic in 100 years, the worst economic crisis in over 90 years, Jamaica is able to make economic plans for the future. And there have been 4 sort of major developments across that across the medium term, or developments that have an impact across the medium term that I would like to speak about because they're important to our recovery and to a strong recovery. The first is that a few weeks ago, we launched a public investment map that provides a transparent window into the government's capital program. The public investment map, available at publicinvestmentmap.gov.jm, allows citizens of Jamaica, and indeed anyone, to examine the projects and the progress of the projects that make up the government's capital program in any one year.
The Finance and Planning Minister added that Jamaica is able to build institutions in the middle of the ongoing crisis of the pandemic.
In the middle of the pandemic, in the middle of the crisis, Jamaica is strengthening and building institutions that exist nowhere else in the Caribbean. There's no Jamaica will be the first CARICOM country to have an independent central bank, and will be the first Caribbean country to have CARICOM country. Not the first. It will be one of the first to have an independent fiscal commission, and certainly it is the first to have a public investment map that's available to all citizens. So in the middle of the pandemic, strengthening and deepening institutions is a show of strength. It is symbolic that though there is a pandemic and these are not normal times, the government is proceeding with its pre-pandemic plans to strengthen and build institutions to ensure that we all recover stronger.
In a Mello TV news follow-up, 18-month-old Akeelia Patton, who was abducted in St. James on Monday, December 7, has been reunited with her family following intensive and ongoing operations to locate the abducted toddler. Akeelia was left at a medical facility in the parish at approximately 10 a.m. yesterday. Now, the police and the Child Protection and Family Services Agency, CPFSA, were contacted and combined investigations are ongoing. Akeelia was medically examined and is said to be in good health. Detectives assigned to the St. James Police Division, as well as the Counter-Terrorism and Organized Crime Branch, CTOC, are conducting a thorough probe into the incident in order to apprehend the persons responsible. In other news tonight, the Major Investigations Division, MID, has launched a top-level probe into the circumstances surrounding the killing of 3 men and a woman by unknown assailants in Planters District, Old Harbour in St. Catherine on Friday, December 11. Now, the deceased are 31-year-old Richard Wright, otherwise called Richie, 27-year-old Omar Wright, otherwise called Bushead, and 49-year-old Lester Harvey, all farmers of Rule Town District, Old Harbour, Clarendon, as well as a woman known only as Nordia of a Chapelton, Clarendon address. Reports coming into our news center tonight are that at approximately 1:30 a.m., residents heard explosions and summoned the police. Upon their arrival, the 4 were seen lying in pools of blood with gunshot wounds. They were taken to the hospital, where they were all pronounced dead. Investigators are appealing to anyone with information to contact the Major Investigations Division MID at 876-758-5048, Police Emergency 119, Crime Stop at 311 or the nearest police station. Still making news tonight, the United States Secretary of State Mike Pompeo has named 6 former members of a now disbanded Jamaica Constabulary Force JCF operational team, the Crime Management Unit CMU, among 17 officials and family members of foreign governments who have been banned from that country for, quote, gross violations of human rights. Now, in a release to mark World Human Rights Day yesterday, the U.S. Secretary of State pointed out that the State Department is announcing the public designation of 17 officials of foreign governments and their immediate family members under Section 7031C of the Department of State Foreign Operations and Related Programs Appropriations Act 2020 as carried forward by the Continuing Appropriations Act 2021 due to the officials' involvement in gross violations of human rights. Pompeo said, quote, the State Department is designating Devon Orlando Bernard, Renito de Cordova Adams, Patrick Anthony Koch, Shane St. Aubin Lyons, Leaford Gordon, and Roderick Anthony Collier for their involvement in gross violations in human rights in Jamaica. Pompeo was making reference to an incident in 2003 in which 2 women and 2 men were killed in a house in the sleepy district of Crawle in Clarendon by members of the CMU led by the then Senior Superintendent of Police, Renita Adams. The CMU members had gone in search of alleged gangster Bashington Chen Douglas, with claims that the 4 people were killed in cold blood in Crawle. Adams and 5 other members of the CMU, 2 corporals and 3 constables who were part of the operation were eventually charged with non-capital murder after a ruling by the Director of Public Prosecutions. They were, however, freed of the charges in December 2005. The CMU was disbanded and Adams resigned from the JCF in 2008. Now, the 6 Jamaicans and their family members were joined on the list released by Pompeo. As we continue with the news, opposition leader and leader of the People's National Party, PNP, Mark Golding, has advised that Peter Bunting be appointed as a senator so that the full complement of 8 opposition senators are established, following the Governor-General's advice by way of a letter to the leader of the opposition that a vacancy exists in the Senate to be filled by a member of the opposition party. Now, this comes following businessman and former treasurer of the People's National Party, PNP, Norman Horn's resignation as an opposition senator. Mr. Horn's resignation letter to the Governor-General, Sir Patrick Allen, which is dated December 10, advised Sir Patrick that he would not be accepting the appointment to sit in the Parliament's upper chamber. Horn's letter stated, and I quote, I have requested that the necessary steps be initiated to rescind my appointment. My decision was made after lengthy discussions with my family and close friends. There is a full appreciation of the broader implications that any furtherance of the now 7-day delay in the resolution of this matter would have on the paramount of good governance and the stability of the People's National Party as an essential institution in that regard, end quote. Still making Mello TV news, the National Solid Waste Management Authority, NSWMA, has launched an island-wide cleanup of public thoroughfares and market districts. Executive Director of the National Solid Waste Management Authority, NSWMA, Audley Gordon, in speaking with our news team, pointed out that the agency is endeavoring to give Jamaica a clean Christmas.
This morning, right across Jamaica, we launched our pre-Christmas cleanup of public thoroughfares and our market districts. We usually do this around about this time of year as we seek to create the kind of environment that is conducive to celebrations. Although COVID is on this year, we know that the spirit of Christmas is alive and well, and we want people to feel good about their surroundings, feel good about themselves, feel good about their families, feel good about the celebrations, and no one will feel good in a situation where there's a lot of mess, a lot of garbage around. So we have started, and we started on Walton Park Road in the MPM region this morning in the vicinity of the Chinese cemetery, where we saw a big, huge mini dump. Unfortunately, most things there deposited by residents of the area. We also saw stuff that were deposited by passerby because obviously some of the stuff there were from commercial entities.
Mr. Gordon also urged residents and businesses to help in the effort by not creating mini dumps along the public thoroughfares.
We are appealing to residents, we are appealing to businesses. Please desist from creating mini dumps along our public thoroughfare. It is not good in any way, shape, or form. We cannot create these unsightly mess along the roadways where our public have to traverse. The children have to walk, the elderly. You know, it is unsightly, yes. It's also a health nuisance, and we don't want that, and we know we can do better as a people. We are Jamaicans. We love beauty. Our country is beautiful. We must endeavor to keep it so. And I urge you as we approach Christmas to think about our surroundings, think about the environment, do our best to keep our public places clean, our spaces. When you look at the Chinese cemetery, very important landmark in this country. The entrance, almost the entrance to the Chinese cemetery, is so defaced by this ton load of old board and toilet bowl and old fridge and, you know, grass and tree trunks. That's not what you want in front of an important landmark like that. You don't want it anywhere in a public thoroughfare, in a public space. So I'm urging residents to do their best to help us to keep Jamaica clean.
Mr. Gordon again gave the assurance that Jamaicans will enjoy a clean Christmas period with their neighborhoods and commercial centers being free of garbage pileups, as a number of workers all over the country are working at this point to ensure that that is accomplished.
Our crews are out right across Jamaica. We're working deep into the night to give you a clean Christmas. We have deployed more sweepers. We have engaged additional tipper trucks, heavy-duty equipment, and we will be doing everything we can to make sure that when you get out of work, when you get out to shop, when you get out to visit your neighbor, when you get out to visit your family, that you will be doing so in a very good atmosphere. I use the opportunity to thank the staff of the National Solid Waste Management Authority. You know, right through COVID, rain and shine, they're out and about doing their job. We don't always get it right, but we try. And I will use the opportunity to big them up at this point as they're going to Christmas. And they too have families, and they too want to have a little celebration. I wish them all the best, and I look forward to working with them for another year in 2021.
Adrian Grant, Regional Operations Manager of the MPM Waste Management Limited, explained that the cleaning up exercise started today with the cleaning of some illegal dumps in the corporate area.
Today we are cleaning some illegal dumps that residents, neighbors have been dumping indiscriminately. And as a result, we are here today to see how best we can clear it up and send a message to those well-thinking Jamaican that these acts of dumping on the sidewalk, which preventing the free flow of pedestrian and in some instances blocking the road, is an unsightly act that should have not happened. And what we are appealing to our Jamaican people to do, please containerize your garbage. If you have your waste to be disposed of, try and find a reputable disposal company
and have them remove it rather than dumping it on the sidewalk. The blind person, the child, the children who have to be using the sidewalks, they have to be walking out in the road, which does not look good, and it is endangering their own lives. And when anything happens, I am sure that none of us will accept responsibility for it. So I'm appealing to those well-thinking Jamaicans, those Jamaicans who are willing to exercise their civic pride. Please stop putting these wastes on the sidewalk. Containerize your waste, keep them at your gate. Our garbage trucks come on a daily basis. We have been talking to residents, and they themselves, they have confirmed that the garbage is picked up on a regular basis.
Now, some residents, in expressing joy about this initiative launched by the NSWMA, urged their fellow residents and passers-by to desist from dumping waste in the community.
I'm feeling good that I see the place are clean up, because down to Monday morning I'm talking about it. I say the place stay away for the front of Walton Park Road, right at Chinese Cemetery. I like how I see it and thing. And I talk about it. I'm glad how I see this morning the elder one them come clean up the front and thing. Yeah, I'm glad we don't want no more rubbish heap right here, so and them thing. So I'm glad for the big man them push out the strength and know say nothing, no dumping, nothing for on the front. And not just a resident, you have people in a car drive by, pull up and just dash, all chuck, just pull up all right there, so and just throw all the things them on the sidewalk and them where they are gone. So it look like say the resident in the community, well, it's not the resident alone, in the resident in the community alone. You have people from outside of the community.
I'm proud of what has taken place here, I like to see the place clean. Yeah, I like how the NWC man them come out and do them job. Yeah, but we want the citizen of the community to know this is not a dumping site. I want the place keep clean for the Christmas. The Christmas season is near. Yeah, and right through the season overall. You understand? So we beg the citizen and hope the citizen will work with we and see that no dumping occur right on the corner of the Waltham, because the sidewalk is for the people to walk on.
And those are the stories making news. I am Shelley Hill. We will now take a break and then join Christopher Scott with sports.